In today's video, we will be continuing with the beginner's guide to kitbashing, and in part 2, I will be sharing my process on how I use props and sets to create unique scenes inside Daz Studio. In part 2, I'm very excited to share with you the process of how I created the dojo for my graphic novel, Tiger Dragon the Rebirth. I'm going to show you the process, share that process with you so you can start to create your own unique scenes inside Daz Studio. Because one of the things that I see a lot, which I struggled with a lot, which I don't struggle with anymore, is creating unique scenes, right? As a beginner, what we do is we just go and purchase the scenes in the Daz Studio store or whatever store you go to, and you just use them as they are. You don't really think about creating unique scenes, and you need to do this right, especially if you're creating a graphic novel or a visual narrative, or even if you're just creating your renders. You want to show people that you're on the next level, right? Next level of thinking, right? Because if you're not at the next level of thinking, you're just a beginner. People are going to see that straight away. When you start thinking at the next level, your artwork will get noticed, right? Because you're thinking at a higher level, which means you are not just a beginner, you're at the intermediate advanced level, and that shows that you're taking this seriously, that you're committed to mastery. And if you're watching this video, you're committed to mastery, you want to learn, you want to improve, and that's what I'm here to help you to do, to improve your renders and become the best damn 3D artist that you can be. So before we begin, I want to show you a quick example of the kind of like overview of the process. So what I normally do is I normally do the old-fashioned way. I get a pen and a paper and I draw out my scene, all right? And I'm going to show you that right now, an example of that right now. So here is this is what I did for my graphic novel Tiger Dragon Rebirth. The outside, right? The kind of like establishing scene shot, right? The establishing scene shot. How I wanted it to be. So literally I just drew out the read. This is my actual handwriting, folks. This is my actual drawing, right? It doesn't have to be great. What it needs to be is a plan, a guide to help you to create whatever you want to create, right? If you have it on a piece of paper, you've taken that idea out of your head, you put it onto a piece of paper, you brought it into existence now. Now let's go and create it, okay? So that's very, very important part of the process. So here, all I've done is just put the dojo here, right? And I'm saying here like, hey, this part is the pavement. This part's going to be the road. This part's going to be the other side of the pavement. And this part's going to have like some buildings, all right? And then over here on the right, we're going to have some shops here, etc., right? And this is just basically helping me out to design that particular establishing scene shot, right? Very, very important. Now, I've also asked questions here. I've written out like, is the kitchen inside here going to be modern or traditional? Because it needs to fit in with the story, all right? Judging on what's happening in the story, you can't have modern items in a home or something that where the people in your home are not on a high income, right? If they're not high income, it's going to be obvious they're going to have modern things in the house, and very, very rarely will they have. If you're on a low income, it's very unlikely for you to have modern things in your house, right? Very unlikely. So it depends on the story, okay? It depends on your story, what you're trying to set the scene and everything, all right? So this is really important. So I created this first, and then obviously I got to work, and then this is the finished product, all right? So this is what I created here. Now, you may notice some of these objects here, these scenes, like this one here and this one at the back here. But apart from that, you may not know any of these other ones, right? It looks like a completely unique scene environment that I've created for the graphic novel, for the universe of the Tiger Dragon graphic novels. So this is what we're going to get into, right? This is what you're going to learn in the process. Going from this, right, to this. This is what you're going to learn in this tutorial. So let's go right into this tutorial right now. So the first thing, and if you've seen the Tiger Dragon the Rebirth, I have a dojo, okay? Now when you purchase the dojo, which is this one here, this is the one I'm using, okay? It's empty inside, right? As you can see, there is nothing inside. There's no first floor. There's nothing, right? It's just one big, huge room. And I'm going to show you that right now, okay? Now, if you've already read my the first chapter of Tiger Dragon the Rebirth, link is in the description if you want to go read that. You'll notice that it doesn't look like this, right? The dojo, there is no first floor like I've done in my dojo. There is no separation. In the graphic novel Tiger Dragon Rebirth, there's like a separation, right? You've got dojo here, you've got a wall here, you've got a kitchen here, and you've got it upstairs, all right? This is the thing. This is the next level thinking, right? So what I did was create that dojo. So how do we do that? What is the process? Well, just like I showed you earlier, I created a plan. So here is the plan, all right? So I got an old-fashioned pen and paper, folks, and I created really overview drawings, all right? Just overview drawings. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to give you an idea of what is happening, all right? So it's a plan just to help you out. I highly recommend this process. It's going to help you. So here are the doors that we just went through, okay? The doors here that we just went through, the dojo, all right? I've just done like an overview plan right here, the doors. So there's the doors there. The dojo, I thought initially was going to be on the right-hand side. Okay, and then on the left hand side we'll have the kitchen, the living room, something to section off the room, okay, and then another section here with some doors and the stairs going to the first floor. All right, so we're gonna have the first floor where they're gonna have the bathroom, Tatsu's room, Ayami's room, and Grand's room. Okay, that was the initial plan. So I changed it around, I flipped it around, and said nope, actually we're gonna have the main doors here. We're gonna flip it around now. So we're gonna have the section here for the wall. And the doors here, and we're going to have the kitchen here and everything else, the living room. The stairs are still going to be on the right hand side, and it's still going to look like this, okay? And this is just a layout of where things are going to be. I highly recommend you do that for your renders or whatever you're doing, right? Don't just make it up on the fly. Actually draw it down so you know what you're doing. It really does help. All right, so let's jump into Daz Studio. Let's make this happen. So what I did was, to create that separation of the wall, the separation here, I just used a primitive, all right? So I did create, new primitive, and it was a cube that I used, okay? Now the cube, I used higher divisions, 100, because I wanted to cut out specific areas of that wall so I could put the doors in, all right? So I created my cube, I resized it, and I put it in. So it looks like this, okay? It looks like that. All right, there it is. Okay. Now the cube obviously will be plain. And what I did was I used my shaders that I purchased. I purchased a bunch of shaders, and I used shaders that would fit in with the aesthetic of the existing dojo. All right. So it fits in with the aesthetic of the original dojo. So obviously there's a lot of wood around. So my wall is going to be made out of wood. Okay. Some wood planks or something or whatever, right? It needs to fit in with the aesthetic. It doesn't make sense if this is made out of cement because, well, if you look at the dojo, it's not made out of cement, it's made out of wood, so this fits in, okay? We've got to think about these things, next level of thinking. Okay, so to create the division, to create the hole here, right? This hole was not here before, I had to create it myself. And the way we do that is we go into a wire shading mode, and then we use the geometry editor, which is in the tool settings, and then geometry editor. Select my wall, and then I can select specific sections, right? I can select like whatever I want and delete those specific areas. If you want more information on how to use a geometry editor, link in the top right here, go and watch that video. It's going to help you out, right? And these are all the tools, right? Everything that's on the YouTube channel is helping you to build your tool belt in order for you to use those tools so you can create something unique, right? That's the whole point of this YouTube tutorial. This whole point of this YouTube channel is to give you the tools so you can level up and use those tools, all right? So everything I teach inside this YouTube channel is going to help you later on as you progress on your journey. Okay, so yeah, on top right, click on that link to do that geometry editor video. It's going to help you out to understand how that works. Okay, so I created the hole here for the doors. Okay, now, so for the doors, I'll show you the doors, what they look like. They look like that, okay, obviously. They look like this, okay. So where did I get these doors from? These doors I got from this set here, which is this one here. Japanese Shinto Shrine, all right. You can see the doors here right at the back there. Okay, I got those doors there. Now, some of the vendors are very good. They will create what are called zero props, all right? So what zero props are is they will take specific elements out of that scene and allow you to put that into your scene very easily, all right? So here are the doors here, which means it's a separate prop, and I can easily add that into my scene, right? I don't need to do any advanced things where I need to edit that out or delete it or do that stuff. I'll show you later on how to do that in the tutorial, so make sure you stick around. I'll show you how to do that as well. So if I go back to Daz Studio here, go to content library, here it is, right? Here is the props, okay? And I just double click this and I can click Alt, and I can keep Alt pressed, left click, and I can drag it in, right? And you can see this cursor here now, this kind of like red dot. Wherever I place this cursor, this red dot, that's where my prop's going to go. Okay, so there it is. It is there. It just need to translate it up. There it is. Okay, it went all the way over there. Okay, didn't go exactly where I wanted, but there it is, right? And then obviously I rotated it, separated them, right? So I created 2 separate doors. So basically, you rotate. Okay, there it is, and then resize to fit it into there, right? That's all I did, right? It's not difficult. Anybody can do this. Okay. So now we've separated it. Fantastic. I've now got my separation here. All right, I've got my dojo here. I've got my little wall here with the door. Now I need to get my move across now. Okay, so now I need to get my kitchen in. Okay, so to get my kitchen in there, right? Because obviously they need somewhere to cook and eat. Now that you got to think about the kitchen. Is this kitchen going to be a modern kitchen? Probably not, right? Because of the story and what's happening. They're not going to have high-tech gadgets or high-tech things in there. So I need to look for a kitchen that's pretty traditional, right? It's pretty like fits in with the aesthetic again, with what's in this dojo, right? We're not going to have like microwaves and fridges and high-tech things in here, right? We're going to try and keep it as simple as possible. So the kitchen we used was from this one here. Plain kitchen, which is this one here. Artist Perspect X. Okay, so with this one, there are no 0 props. Okay, like with the other one, we had 0 props like this, all right, which we can use individual parts for already done for you. With this one, you need to edit out the specific elements yourself, okay? So I'm going to go through that process with you right now. So let's go back to Daz Studio. Here is what the kitchen looks like. Find it for you. Right, so that's the kitchen there, okay? So the kitchen comes with this table here. Obviously I changed the shader as well. All right, shaders are very important. I highly recommend you get yourself some shaders because they're going to really add to the uniqueness of your renders, okay? Because that is a very simple way to kit bash anything. Whether it's clothing, whether it's items, whatever it is, right? You get those shaders, you kit bash it, people will not know the original, right? They will not know what that original thing is. It's the simplest method for you to really show that you are taking into consideration and thinking at the next level of your journey, right? Next level of how you are creating things. So this is what the kitchen looks like, okay? Inside the dojo that I created. So let's just remove that for a second. Okay, so here is that set there loaded, and here you can see the kitchen, right? The exact kitchen that I had for the graphic novel Tiger and Rebirth or Dojo. Okay, so here it is. Now there are 2 ways to do this. The first way is the geometry editor way, but it's very difficult to do that, to select specific part of the geometry and remove that. The other way to do it is to just cut out specific elements, and the way to do that is we go to the room. The room is the main area, right? The room is all this, and inside the surfaces of the room we can see specific segments. Okay, so let me just use the surfaces tool, which is the easiest way. So with the surfaces tool, I can select a specific surface, and let's say I selected this wall here, right? And it's going to take me to that surface automatically. All right, this wall. Now, I don't want this wall. I just want the kitchen, okay? So I can just type in here, cut out, okay? And I'm just going to literally cut it out, all right? I don't want that wall, okay? And I don't want that wall. I don't want the signage, okay? Cut out. And this is what I literally did, all right? I literally went through everything I didn't want and I just cut it out because it's all part of the room, okay? These whole props and everything are part of this one object here. So we need to use the surfaces to cut out everything, okay? And so obviously this takes a very long time to do, and you've got to take the time to do that, all right? So obviously I went through everything, cut out all the specific elements I didn't want. All right, and then I got my kitchen, right? I got this, and I got that area there. All right, so that was the procedure for that. It was just literally going through and cutting out things I didn't want or didn't need. And then if I couldn't get rid of something for whatever reason, then what I did was I used the geometry editor to get rid of the other parts, all right? So the other parts, I went to the next level and I was like, okay, I can't get rid of these things. What do I need to do? I need to use the geometry editor. So I'll use the geometry editor for smaller things. So for example, this fridge here, I would use a geometry editor. Okay. I would use a geometry editor, right? Again, and I would just delete it. Okay, I'll say, hey, delete selected polygons. I don't need these. Okay, there it goes. All right. So I would use like whatever I can to remove that I can't remove. Big things, I would use a cutout here in the surfaces. And then any little things that I didn't want, I would use a geometry editor to just remove that. Okay. So those are two skills you need to learn and you need to practice in order for you to create your unique environment. So we could take specific props that we want from this scene and then put it into our scene, right? So that was the plain kitchen, and obviously when we go back to the dojo, there it is. Okay, now obviously I resized things. So after I put it in, I resized things. I moved things around to make sure everything fitted. What I also did is I put my character in there. I'll show you that very shortly, to understand sizing, right? To understand the sizing of things, because sometimes the sizes of these props are too large, and then you're kind of like you don't know whether it will fit. So I highly recommend you put like you don't have to put your main character in, just put like a developer kit character in, right? So one of these characters that load up very fast. Okay, so one of these dev characters, right? Doesn't matter, right? And just put it in here so you can see sizing, all right? So you can understand the sizing. I think because sometimes these props are pretty big, and it looks a bit ridiculous when your character's sitting on it, because obviously the character should be bigger, right? And should be big enough to fit on this chair here, so it looks correct. So that was the plain kitchen. The next thing I did was, okay, so I've got my wall. Got my ground partition, okay. Got my wall, got my kitchen, fantastic. It's starting to look like something decent now, okay. And I need my TV here, and I need my couch, right. And I still haven't got my upstairs here, right. My upstairs to create my first floor. So let's have a look at how I created the upstairs. So here is the upstairs, okay. So here is the stairs going to upstairs, right, to the first floor. And obviously that was not there in the original. So where did I get this from, right? Where did I get this particular prop from in order to create the upstairs? So that was here. That was from the duplex living, and you'll see it here very easily. It's this one here, okay? It's this here. So I took the stairs here and I created the first floor, okay? So how did I do that, right? So let's go through that process. The duplex living, here it is. Okay, so here is the duplex living set here. Here it is. Okay, so there's the stairs there. Okay, I wanted these stairs for inside the graphic novel. So how did I do it? Okay, so same thing, we go into duplex living, and then I'm going to use my surfaces tool. I'm going to figure out what this prop is, right? Where is this? So it's this one here, DL stairs 3, right? This is the object, okay? This is the particular object, DL3 stairs. So all I need to do now is unparent that. So right click, unparent these, all right? And then I can just hide the rest. Don't need it, okay? Now, looking at this, so sometimes it's easy, all right? Sometimes it's easy, like the object is literally a separate object and you can just unparent it. You could delete the duplex 2 living, right? I don't actually need it. I could delete it if I wanted it to. And here it is, okay? So in my scene, I was looking at this and I was like, okay, I like the stairs. I like this wooden part. I don't like that there's nothing in below. It looks too modern, right? I need to fix that. I'll fix that later. But I don't want this top section here, all right? Because this doesn't fit in. So how am I going to remove this top section here? Well, again, we're going to go to the geometry editor, all right? I can't use the cutout because if I use the cutout, so the glass, right? The glass cutout, if I do that, it's going to remove all the glass, all right? It's going to remove all the glass, and I want the glass, okay? So I'm not going to remove the glass, and I can't remove the metal okay, because it's going to remove all the metal, and I want the metal. So in that case, what we need to do is use a geometry editor. So we again, we go to our wire texture shaded, we go to our tools, we go to the geometry. You can see how the geometry editor is become a vital part, a vital tool set, okay? And then we just click, right? Control click on the specific segments that I want to delete. All right, because I don't want this section. Right, I don't want this section at all. And then obviously right click, geometry, editing, delete selected polygon. And I went through that very meticulously, deleting all those sections that I don't want. So I don't end up with all this, right? I don't want all this. I only want these stairs here. All right, so let's go back to the dojo here, the main dojo, the other scene there. So duplex living, there it is. Okay, let me put our wall back on. So it is, and again, this is a great idea to, in your scene, right? This is quite a bit of a messy scene inside here, looking for things. It's a great idea to group things in your scene so you know where things are. All right, highly recommend you do that. So when you come back to it later on, 6 months time, 9 months time, 2 years from now, you're going to be like, where is everything? How does it work? All right, you need to understand that as well. You need to make sure you keep the scene organized, so when you come back to it later, you know where things are, right? So you don't get confused. Highly recommend you do that as well. And that's, again, that is the intermediate level, all right? Because beginners, we don't think like that. We just put everything in that scene tab. When we get to intermediate advanced stage, we start to really think about these next level of thinking. So here is the dojo, the staircase from the duplex living. And you'll notice that this here, staircase support, all right? I put this in there myself, right? I didn't like the fact that it had holes there. It didn't make sense to me, all right? Especially in the aesthetic of this environment. It doesn't make sense, right? It's not a modern place. It is pretty old. So basically what this is this is just a cube, okay? A cube primitive. That's all it is. And I just used the same shaders that I used for the stairs, and I just applied it to that primitive, and I just put it in the right place, right? I just rotated it so it fit it, stretched it, X, Y, Z. You can see it here, actually. You can see the staircase. Well, here it is, right? Translated it, rotated it, scaled it, right? Using the X, Y, and Z to fit it, right? To make it look like it fits part of that scene. And, right, so it fits in with that scene. You can see now what I've done with the staircase. I've literally chopped it off to that bit there. I didn't want anything else, the extra bit. And you can see the detail there. Okay, so we've got a staircase. Fantastic. The next thing I want to do was like, all right, in my story, I need to have a couch where they can sit, and I need a TV. Because my character, Tatsu, plays video games, all right? So he needs a TV to play video games. And they only have one TV, all right? Because they're not like a super rich family. Again, it's all to do with the story, all right? Very important thing to think about. So here I've got the couch, which is going to be here. There it is. All right, so here is the living room. And this is the couch here. And this is the sofa, I think it's called. And this is the TV here. And they've got the PlayStation and the TV stand here. So where did I get this from, all right? Because obviously this did not come with anything. I had to drag it from somewhere. So this I actually got from these two things. This one I actually got from this set here, which is the cottage living room. You can see it right here, okay? This is the set here. And you can see this artist or this vendor has created 0 props. So it's very easy. You just go into that place and I can just use this as it is, all right? Now, in hindsight, I should have really used a different shader to make it look more unique, all right? So I should have probably changed the color. That was me as a beginner, all right? I didn't understand about shaders and changing things and all that. But obviously, as I create my next books, the next stories, there will be much more customized, all right? These props, you will not know where they come from. It'll be very, very difficult for you to figure that out inside Daz Studio. So this is the next level of thinking I'm thinking about. As I'm going through this tutorial with you right now, I'm thinking like, I should have changed the color of that sofa and changed certain elements of that sofa. Basically, I just added that in. It's a 0 prop, so there it is, right? Just put it straight in there. And I think I resized it. We can have a look at this because I think it was too big. So here it is. Yeah, I did. No, I didn't resize it. I just moved it around. Okay. So there it is. Okay, and that's how it is there. Now the TV is also from the duplex living, I believe. So it's from here. The TV is actually from here. It's actually from here, I believe. Yeah. So there's the TV, right? That was the TV from there. This here, the TV stand was a bit smaller. So I used that. Again, I believe there's, this comes in 0 props as well. So here's the 0 props. Okay, so I can just have the TV by itself. And then I can have this stand by itself. I think I resized the stand here to fit. So let's go back and have a look at that. So yeah, it's resized here. You can see here, scaled it down. TV unit, which is this here. I've scaled it down. X scale 43%, right? So if the original size was, see how big that is. Obviously this is parented to the thing. So you could do a lot with just scaling things, rescaling things, right? Always think about rescaling things as well, because sometimes you can take a prop that you've got in another scene and you want to use it and you think, oh, it's too big. Say, no, you can rescale it, right? Think about that as well. Rescaling, you can really add a lot of extra value to what you purchased. All right, don't think that just because it's big you can't use it. You can still use it. Okay, so great. So that's basically the first floor done, right? This is the ground floor done. This is the ground floor. It is absolutely done, right? I haven't done anything else to this. And now let's move on to making the first floor. All right, so now I've done this, I'm like, okay, I need to create a first floor now. So how does that work? So let's dive into that scene right now. So let's move on how I created the first floor of this dojo, because remember the dojo is completely empty. That prop is completely empty. That set is empty. So I've gone and created this for the scene in graphic novel Tiger Dragon Rebirth, in the graphic novel Tiger Dragon Rebirth. So what I did was mad floor 4 here, mad floor 4 here. What I did was I duplicated this, right? Because I wanted to use the same flooring that I've got on my ground floor for my first floor. So all I did was go to edit, duplicate node. So that's giving me an exact copy of this. And then all I did was resized it, translated it, and then we created the upstairs here. This is just a plane for the upstairs for the first floor, right? The grounding of that first floor. And obviously resize it. As you can see here, you can see the scaling, the X scaling, all the values here for this particular area. Just zoom in so you can see that. Let me just remove that as well, because the yellow flashy thing kind of gets annoying. So you can see it fills the whole scene there. And then obviously it's left me with this here, this gap here. So I can't go all the way through. So I just basically created another one where I will just fill that gap, okay? And there is my first floor, right? There is the first floor. Wasn't that difficult really, if you think about it. It's just a case of thinking about, you know, how to build a house, right? Remember when you did Lego and you were building things? It's kind of like that. You're constructing Lego. You're constructing your own set, basically. That's what you were doing. Okay, so that's the floor done there. The kind of first floor of that segment. So how did I create these individual segments, right? These individual segments here, these individual rooms here. And the way I did that was I used the character first. Actually, before I go there, I wanted to show you about the size here. So in order for me to work out what size this needs to be, right? How high this first floor needs to be, or it needs to be, I added a character, all right? So I use my character here as reference, okay? So this is just a Genesis 8 male dev character. It doesn't need to be anything fancy, right? I just need something for size, right? To understand sizing. So in relation to everything. So you can see there's plenty of room here. So if I push this up too high, the character will be like squished. There wouldn't be enough room, right? Seating room, headroom, so to speak. So this is very, very important. So I highly recommend you just add a character into your scene when you're creating a scene to understand the relationship of size, okay? Of the set you're creating. Okay, we can hide him now. And then all I did was I just used a primitive cube and just created the walls. So this is what it looks like, right? These are all cubes. And as you can see, they got the same shader as the one in the first floor. The one in the ground floor, that ground floor partition that we created, it's the same shader, okay? Because it needs to be consistent with the aesthetic of this dojo. And that's it, basically. I didn't really do anything for the inside the rooms because we don't go in the rooms. The only room we go into is this one here, Grand's room. Now, obviously, this is not the same room design you see inside the graphic novel Tiger Dragon: The Rebirth. Link in the description. Go and check it out. Go and read it. It's an awesome story, entertaining story, a meaningful story. Something that's missing in the world today. Meaningful stories. Some stories are just not meaningful anymore. So you're just reading and wasting your time reading something that really is not meaningful. Every story you watch or read or do or even listen to should have some sort of meaning. Should teach you something, so you can become a better person and achieve your big, beautiful goals and dreams, or achieve your grand ambitions. Now, so that's the first floor there. Now, let's go into very quickly lighting. All right, so the lighting, because obviously in this scene here we have got it is scene only environment, which means there's no lights apart from whatever scene lights we're using. All right, so when I do the iRay preview, you will see that we've got these three objects here, 1, 2, and there's another one here, 3, there it is. All right, and they're giving us the light. Okay, so they're giving us the light for this scene here. All right, so hold on a second. The camera here has got depth of field. Let me just turn that off so you can see properly. There you go. Okay, we've got the lights here. Okay, now obviously these three lighting here are not lighting the whole hallway. Okay, we've got ghost lights in here. So I think I've got 2 ghost lights in here to give that to light up this hallway. Otherwise, we won't be able to light up this hallway. So this is what you got to think about when you do your scenes as well. Like if I didn't have this lighting here, it'll just be dark. Okay, so I need to think again of how I'm gonna add lighting, but make it believable that this lighting exists. And the way to do that was to use these, because this fits in with the aesthetic of the dojo. Right, these lighting fixtures here, which I think I got from I can't remember what prop I got it from now, but I got it from a different a different scene, and I used that. Right, so it's thinking about what will fit in with the aesthetic of your scene here, and this is the lighting here. Now we've got ghost lights in here. Oh, sorry, we don't have ghost lights. What we do, yes, we do have a ghost light. Sorry, it is this one here, hallway lighting 2. All right. So this is just basically a plain a cube that I've made emissive. So here it is, hallway lighting 2 surfaces, and I'll show you that right now. Emissive, see, it says it's emissive. So if I do currently use, you'll be able to see everything here. So this is the temperature I've used. This is the luminance. These are all the things, and the cutout opacity is 0.00001. So you can't see it in the render. If I change the cutout opacity to 1, you'll see it. Here it is. All right, this is what it actually looks like. All right, so 0.00001. All right, and that gives the illusion that this is lighting the whole thing. Because if I take this away now, you'll see how dark it really is. See how dark it really is, the hallway without that light. It looks very dark. All right, so this is why I wanted that hallway lighting there. So that's lighting. Very, very important to think about that as well when you're creating your scenes, is to understand how am I going to light this particular thing. And 9 times out of 10 you're going to use this kind of process where you're using like something like this to kind of show like it's lighting the hallway, but actually you're going to use a ghost light to give the illusion that this is lighting the whole scene. So with a bit of practice and using the tools and tips and techniques that I've discussed in this YouTube tutorial, you can create something like this. Now this is the climactic scene, the Chou City Ducks, from the graphic novel Tiger Dragon: The Rebirth. This is where the finale is, where everything goes down. As in any great movie, there's a final scene where the main conflict happens and everything is resolved. This is that scene. This took me about 2 days to make, and I followed the same process. So basically what I did was I got pen and paper, did a drawing of what I wanted to look like, right? These ducks. Did some research on Google Images to see what ducks look like so I can emulate that. Okay, use that as reference material. And then I did that. And then as you can see here in the scene tab, it's very clean compared to the dojo. So what I learned from my first mistake with the dojo, where things are all over the place, this one's clearly labeled. So when I open the docs here, you can see everything is clearly labeled in a group. So I could turn things on and off at will. And the reason I did that is because once I add my characters into the scene, the geometry sizes are going to shoot up to some crazy amount. where my graphics card will not be able to hold that much data because it's only 8 gigabytes of RAM, and then it's going to go straight to CPU rendering. Therefore, I could turn specific things off. So when I'm doing my camera angles in this particular scene, maybe I don't need these extra warehouses. Maybe I don't need this road. I don't need these containers, right? I don't need the fence here because you can't see that in the camera angle. I'm saving, right, geometry when I'm adding my characters. So that's the reason for creating the groups, all right? Fantastic. Okay, so go through this very briefly. Obviously, these are vehicles. So these are just your standard vehicles, trucks here. These containers here are from a container prop. I can't remember what scene they're from, but they're from there. And the materials, these materials come with it. So those come with it, so I choose different ones. And these are the ones that I've added, right? I've positioned these onto the back of the trucks. They didn't have these containers on the truck, so I had to put these myself. These fake warehouses here are the level 19 warehouse. So if you go to Smart Content Environments Architecture, you go down to level 19, environments, and you go to level 19, which is free. So this one's free, level 19, there it is. Okay, this one comes free with Daz Studio. This is what it looks like from the outside. I just use that, okay, because I wanted like some fake warehouses. The real one is this one here where everything happens. And then the lights here, in order to do the lighting, even here, right, these here to do lighting, see this here, the lighting here. These are just from my props, Smart Content, my props, and it's going to be lights, and these are going to be these here, right? These are the bollards. So basically, I got these bollards here, and what I did is I put the bollard in there, I resized it, made that emissive here, made that emissive there, put some ghost lights here either side to give it the illusion that it's lighting the whole scene, right? It's really bright. It's like a movie trick, all right? A lot of the movies do this, give the illusion of extra light when it's not really there. So that's the lighting to sort of my lighting situation. Same here as well. Over here, you can see these very, very tall lights here. These are very, very small, right? They're like, I think they're like table lamps or something. And all I did was create several of these, join them together, okay? Added them on, resized it, and then made them big to make it look like those massive lights you see at the docks, all right? That's all I did. And that's kitbashing. And then what else I did was the fence here. The fence is from a prison scene. So I just took out the fence from that prison scene using the skills that we learned in this tutorial earlier on. And then I just expanded it, right? I made it bigger. I made it go all the way around this area to make it look like it's fenced off, right? So make it look like only certain things, make it look like it's a secure area, so to speak. And that's it, right? That's what it looks like, right? This is what it looks like. This is the whole scene. I'll give you the view of the whole scene, right? This is it. Sometimes I do get carried away with the extra bits here that I didn't need because I don't know what kind of camera angles I'm going to use. So normally I will just kind of go a bit OTT and I will just put extra things here. So if I do a camera angle, that I don't need to worry about adding things. It's already there if I need to use it if and when. So there you go, folks. That's what we do with kitbashing in terms of props and scenes, creating your own unique scenes. Very important when you are creating scenes for your graphic novel, your visual narrative, your renders, right? I don't want to see any of these scenes, right? If I go and see a render, right, from you, and I see that it's a scene that's already, if you're using a scene that's already preset, I don't want to see that anymore, right? You should be using these skills to be creating unique scenes. This is a high level skill, a skill that set you apart from amateurs, right? And because we are committed to mastery, that's what we do, right? We keep learning, we keep progressing, and this is what it's all about. So there you go, folks. Make sure to leave a comment down below about this tutorial. Anything you liked, you didn't like, any comments you have, leave it down below. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and that notification bell. And don't forget to check out Tiger Dragon the Rebirth, a entertaining and meaningful superhero story. Emphasis on the meaningful, because there are a lot of stories out there these days that are focusing on agendas. The stories that I create are not focusing on agendas. They are entertaining and meaningful. So if you're looking for a meaningful superhero story, all right, you're looking around, you kind of don't know what you want to search for, go check out Tiger Dragon the Rebirth. It is a entertaining and meaningful superhero story. Link in the description down below for that. And I'll see you all in next week's video. And if you want to achieve your grand ambitions, you must commit to mastery.